right, testing 1 2, testing. Test 1 2. Yeah, testing 1 2, testing. Test test. Testing 1 2. Oh, there we go. There's a little bass in the voice. Testing. Oh boy. I don't like this. I like to turn it off and on. I can. Like you can hear me breathe. It's really sensitive. I don't. It's really sensitive. Because I'm going to be speaking the most.
What I'm thinking then is we can quickly switch off.
Okay.
Mind just saying to them,
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting started shortly. Please make your way into the auditorium. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Frisco Chamber Candidate Forum. My name is Maureen Johns, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the Frisco Chamber. I want to thank you for taking the time to be here this evening to get to know the candidates. And for those who couldn't make it in person, we are streaming from the Frisco Chamber's website and also our YouTube channel. The video will be available on our Facebook page after the event. We encourage you to share and help us encourage more voters of Frisco to get informed before they head to the polls. Thank you to our gracious host, always so gracious, Grace Church Frisco, Tim Payne and his team. Joshua, thank you so much for all your help tonight. Let me now welcome our Frisco Chamber President and CEO, Ms. Crystal Howard, and tonight's run of show. Sides. Well, it is a little bit of a gauntlet. We wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to greet everybody. So thank you for going through the gauntlet to get here tonight. We're so grateful for you taking time out of your evening to learn about everyone and everything that is on the ballot. And in fact, we have all the races and items listed on your May ballot represented tonight. And as a very important reminder, the Frisco Chamber exists to keep Frisco the best place to be in business. And as part of that mission, we do not endorse candidates, but sometimes the board elects to take positions in support of or against ballot measures, which at this time, that is not the case with anything on the May ballot. So in addition to the candidates tonight, the officially filed PACs were also invited to the forum. Now, it is, no pun intended, a packed agenda, and our goal will be to move quickly and get lots of substance in along the way. So we're going to be efficient with this. Candidates, please pay attention as we're moving through so that you'll be ready to go when your race is up next. And of course, important reminder, Election Day, May 3rd, early voting, kicks off April 22nd, which feels like tomorrow, and goes through the 29th. So again, thank you all for being here, and I think we need to say thank you as well. I know we're not all going to agree with what's said tonight, and there will be some disagreements on the issue, but I think we can all agree it's difficult to put yourself out there. So can we just align on one thing and give it up for those who are willing to step forward and serve? All right, well, thank you so much. I think without further ado, let's get it started. I'd like to introduce our moderator tonight, which is once again Rick Rogers. Now, Rick co-owns the Frisco Enterprise and Star Local Media with his wife, Elizabeth. They're Frisco residents since 2011. And Rick will be joined at the table by Maureen, who's in charge of keeping us consistent and accountable to the rules, so she really has the tough job tonight. So Maureen, we'll let you go first with the rules. Lay it out. Let's give it up for our moderators.
start tonight with the PACs speaking on the ballot propositions, then call in college races, followed by Frisco ISD and City Council races to round out the night. In uncontested races, candidates will simply get an introductory statement. For contested races, each candidate gets a 1-minute opening statement and a 1-minute closing. And as Rick asks questions, everyone gets a 1-minute response. We have a timekeeper, Shelby, who will give a 30-second warning card and a stop card when your time is up. And I'm going to warn you, she will use that bell for anyone going over time. Something different this year. To keep us on schedule with a large group of candidates, while there will be no rebuttals, each candidate can challenge one answer by their opponent. The challenge statement will be timed at 30 seconds. Candidates can challenge the challenge, but that will count as their one challenge opportunity. All right, Rick, they're all yours.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll start out with the propositions on the ballot, both related to the Frisco Center for the Arts project. Proposition A addresses authorization to utilize Type A Economic Development Corporation funds for Type B community development purposes specific to the project. And Proposition B would authorize issuing debt for the project in an amount not to exceed $160 million. Representatives from each PAC will have 3 minutes to state their position. Coming up first to speak against the propositions, please welcome Brian Livingston of the Citizens for a Smarter Frisco PAC. Brian, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you for having us today, and thanks everyone for being out here. Again, my name is Brian Livingston, and I'm here speaking on behalf of the Citizens for a Smarter Frisco. Since we have 3 minutes, I'm going to be quick. I think whether we're spending CDC money, EDC money, TERS money, or city money, we have an obligation to spend it responsibly for what's best for the city. Regarding Proposition A, I think using the EDC funds for continued economic development to bring good, high-paying jobs to Frisco is the highest and best use for it. And also, if we need to use it for other infrastructure such as roads or whatever, I've advocated personally in the past to have an election to spend it on first responders and stuff like that during a time of crisis. Should we face another COVID event again where we are worried about not having enough sales tax in order to do that, and we've had a representative that had proposed similar language like that in the state. If we were going to use EDC money, I would want to try to go down a path like that. Speaking to a little farther along, we just approved, or there was just, the City of Frisco just approved an LOI. My issue with that is Frisco Live, which is the entity that we contracted with, is a startup entity. It's been around since November of 2024. It is going to be funded with $4 million for capital expenses only. And the other entities that we hear about, Broadway Across America, Broadway Dallas, and John Gore Theatrical, are very well-known, very talented people, but they have no direct obligation to fund anything beyond that $4 million. So if for some reason it does not work out like we said we are, which a lot of performing arts centers do not, who's going to fund that? It will continue to be our EDC, CDC, and Frisco taxpayers eventually is what we believe. How much time I have left? 40 seconds? Oh boy, I'm rattling it out. So we're standing to be no on both Proposition A and Proposition B. And again, our name of the PAC is Citizens for a Smarter Frisco, and if we have a Facebook page, if anybody wants to visit it, you can reach out and somebody from the PAC will respond. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brian. Now representing the PAC known as Smart Frisco, speaking in support of the propositions, please welcome Bill Woodard.
Thank you. Thank you for having us tonight. So first of all, I want to explain a little bit about what you're voting on, and that's 2 tools to allow the City Council to continue to pursue this project. If these 2 items pass, it doesn't guarantee that the project happens. There's still a lot of work to be done. So I'll explain that a little bit. First tool is, can we use some of our economic development funds for a community development project? And that's simply because there was a state law change 2 years ago that put some very tight definitions on what's economic and what's community development types of projects. So the first one is just, can we use money from one sales tax bucket in another sales tax bucket? The second item you're voting on is, would you allow authorization to use up to $160 million in bond funds? That's a maximum amount. We're not going to go out and sell that as soon as it passes. There's still work to be done. It's just the authorization to do that. Now, you might ask, why would we want to use economic development funds for a community development project? Well, the answer is simple. This is an economic development project. It will bring economic development to the northern part of Frisco. It will be a regional draw, just like the Star is, just like Omni PGA, just like FC Dallas Stadium is. It will help generate additional sales tax that allows us to continue to attract businesses to Frisco. So it is a net positive impact project for the city. Sorry, I've got some notes here. I'm going to make sure I mention everything. In regards to the sales tax, this will only come from existing sales tax funds. We are not increasing the sales tax, and none of this project will be funded out of property tax ever. Even the council members and the people that are part of the PAC that are for this know that we will not touch property tax, period. It's as simple as that. In regards to the LOI, yes, the LOI right now is a framework. That is typical of any LOI that you see on any project. In fact, the LOI that we had for Omni PGA, that project probably died 1,000 deaths while we were working on that before we finally got to a resolution. So what's going to happen is that LOI becomes the framework that the council will continue to work on in the future to bring a final contract that will tie in the John Gore Foundation and those other entities. Yes, Frisco Live is a new entity because you have literally the biggest player in Broadway America and the regional partner in Dallas Broadway that have come together, that have agreed to manage the center, and after year 5, take all risk of any operational losses. It's as simple as that. And they are backed by organizations that are literally Broadway of America. They are the Jerry Joneses of the arts, of the performing arts world. So we've got a great situation right now with multiple partners on board. Broadway America, you've got Prosper ISD on board. They're fully invested. Is that my 3 minutes already? All right. Well, anyway, we've got a table in the back. Be happy to talk to you more if you come out and see us afterwards.
Thank you, Bill. If we could have our Collin College candidates make their way to the stage, please. In the meantime, we want to mention the proposed charter amendments you'll see on the ballot. The chair of the committee that helped make those recommendations was here in the lobby tonight to answer your questions and provide information. You can also find more details on the City of Frisco's website. There are 2 unopposed candidates in this race. Raj Mignon for place 5, who was unable to join us this evening, and Justin Adcock for place 6. Okay, Justin, please give us your 1-minute introduction, and then you actually will let you go. You've got the shortest time on stage tonight, so you'll get to go back and grab dinner and watch the Stars game later. But yeah, go ahead and give us your introduction.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you to Maureen, the Frisco Chamber, and Grace Church for having us tonight. Thank you all for coming out. Like they said, my name is Justin Adcock. I'm running for place 6 at the Collin College for the Board of Trustees. I'm running unopposed, so that's the easiest decision you'll have tonight. Because of that, they gave me 60 seconds. I don't have time to tell you that we have the 3rd lowest tax rate among all colleges in the state. I don't have time to tell you that we're consistently ranked as the best value for your money of any college in the state of Texas. But I will tell you one thing, that we are here to help you succeed, whether you're a student, whether you're a resident looking to change careers, whether you're a business leader. On the campaign trail, people have come up to me, they said, Justin, I can't find qualified people that have a certification for this, or we need more people for this. That's our wheelhouse, right? We want to have that funnel of students turned into productive workers for you. So if you're a business leader, you need something, feel free to reach out to us. If you're a candidate, keep us in mind if we can assist you in any way. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Candidates for Collin College Trustee Place 4 are in ballot order on the stage. If you would, please introduce yourself before giving opening statements. You have 1 minute, And tomorrow, we'll start with you.
Thank you. I guess I'll stand up since I'm short and Justin started it. Thank you so much, Frisco Chamber, for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Tamara Thomas. I am an original Planoite and Collin County resident. I am a chiropractor by trade and have a health and wellness clinic in Plano. I am also nonprofit leadership. I've served on several boards, including Douglas Visions Committee, Rotary, Junior League of Richardson. I'm a Leadership Plano graduate. I've served in positions of president, finance vice president, scholarship chair. I've served in community grants chair, and just on a lot of different boards and a lot of different positions, anything that I can find my hands to do, because I'm an advocate for people. I am really, really passionate about education, and most especially for our workforce, because we need to make sure that we're able to compete on a global market.
Stacy, 1 minute.
Thank you again for having us this evening. We greatly appreciate it. My name is Stacy Weaver. I'm a retired police officer and now a school superintendent. Long story how I got there. I've served many years as an adjunct professor. I serve on the YMCA board, Legacy Education Foundation board, the Texas Public Charter Schools board, and I've been in education for 25 years. I'm very passionate about making sure that students have pathways to their education. Not every student is going to go to college. So I want to make sure that we at Collin College keep it affordable, and we offer industry certifications that are in alignment with our economic development, as well as what the courses that are offered through high school, so it's a pipeline right into Collin College. We have so many students that don't believe they can afford to go to college, and Collin College just disproves that. It's a phenomenal college, $67 a credit. It's almost hard to believe and hard not to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we jump into the questions, again, just a reminder, there are no rebuttals, but each candidate can challenge one answer by their opponent. The challenge statement will be timed at 30 seconds, and a candidate can challenge the challenge, but that will count as their challenge opportunity. Stacy, we'll start with you. What do you believe is the primary role of a Collin College trustee, and what qualities or experience make you the best candidate to serve in that role?
Thank you. So I believe that the qualities, you have to be a dedicated person. You have to be able to understand the economic development. You have to want to and believe in keeping the taxes low and keeping college affordable. What qualifies me, I would say, I'm a business owner as well. I have an MBA in business. I have chaired many committees and boards. I have a tremendous background from pre-K all the way through college. I have taught in so many different areas of education. I have a tremendous relationship with our legislators. I'm always up there in Austin testifying and making sure that education and schools and students, that everything that they need, we're fighting for. And I really believe with my background, my experience, and my relationships that I fostered, I can bring a lot to the table for Collin College.
Same question. Would you like me to repeat it? Sure. What do you believe is the primary role of a Collin College trustee, and what qualities or experience make you the best candidate to serve in that role?
Thank you. I believe the primary role of a board trustee is, first of all, to make sure that the administration and the leadership of the college presents a culture that is welcoming, a culture that is innovative, a culture that is growing, and a culture that is dedicated to a future. I believe that in that position and in that role, we have to make sure that our finances are right, that our finances are where we can continue to grow and experience the best workforce that we can develop and provide. The qualities are leadership, accountability, honesty, integrity, dependability, all of the things needed to jump in and make sure that we're successful in what we're doing.
We'll go ahead and keep the mic on, as you'll go first with this one. We're going to flip-flop back and forth. So, with the passage of House Bill 8 last year, we shifted toward an outcomes-based funding model for community colleges in Texas. what areas do you believe are working well, and what do you believe could be improved in the funding model to best support student success at Collin College?
So I think I heard you right. I'm kind of hearing an echo. But I believe that, I'm not really sure how to answer this question because I think I halfway heard it. But in order to bring success into our institution, it's just like any other organization. It's about relationship, building relationship, making people feel comfortable and supported, making sure that the things that are needed to go to school and to be successful and to come out and be a successful citizen are there and in place, making sure that the staff and the students feel that the college is a safe place in every area of their lives and they're supported. And I hope I answered that question right because I'm having problems hearing.
Is there difficulty with the audio?
I'm hearing like an echo. Are you hearing? Maybe it's me, but go ahead. Okay. So anyway, I just feel like, I think I had 15 seconds left. I feel like whatever is needed at Collin College, I am qualified to be in that area. And if I'm not qualified, I will do the work to make sure I get qualified.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, the question, with the passage of House Bill 8 last year, we shifted toward an outcomes-based funding model for community colleges in Texas. What areas do you believe are working well, and what do you believe could be improved in the funding model to best support student success at Collin College?
So as an education leader right now, everything could be better for funding for college. But we're moving to an accountability model. And so when we talk about accountability model and funding, I would say that completers is very important. So we need to be able to support our students with more than just education, and definitely being relationships are very important, but we also have to make sure that their mental health and their all of the social emotional issues are also incorporated into this, because if students don't complete college, don't get the support they need, don't have the help they need, the college is not going to have a great accountability rating. Right now we're doing well with it, but any education leader, the last thing you want is your dollars tied to accountability. Unless you're a great leader, you're not worried about anything. So I think that there just has to be a paradigm shift so that we make sure that we're meeting those accountability ratings so our funding continues.
And then last question, what role should Collin College play in regional economic development and or job training? Stacy?
I think the college should be playing a large role because Collin College has 60,000 students enrolled right now, and if those students aren't going into careers that are aligned with our high demand areas here and our economic development plan, then there's not going to be a successful rate of students staying here in Collin County and bringing back, bringing a strong workforce. So I think that it's just really important that there's constant communication between the high schools with the dual credit and the industry certifications and all of the programs. So it's all about communication and building relationships through the pipeline of high school into college and then into the workforce. So with that said, the most important thing is that we continue. I was in Austin 2 weeks ago, and one of the Supreme Court justices said that they needed court reporters. They pay them $100,000 to start. I called the president of the college. I said, it's a 6-month class. We need that. So those are the things that we need to be doing.
Same question? Yes. What role should Collin College play in regional economic development and job training?
So I believe that Collin College should take the lead in that particular area. And the reason why is because without education, without skills, without knowledge, there is no economic development. Collin College has to build the bridge in order for our community to be effective in not only economics, but also in citizenship, in lifestyle, in building an economy that is going to be able to compete on a global level. The programs and degrees that Collin College has, this is its 40th year, anniversary year. I'm very proud of Collin College and all that it's accomplished. I want to help advance it in that aspect. We need to make sure that like last year when they had to let go of some of their programs because there were not enough students enrolled in those programs, that never happens again. With the climate that we're in this nation, everybody needs a job, everybody needs a skill and education. Thank you.
All right, it's now time for closing statements for 1 minute each, and we'll go in reverse ballot order. Stacy, you may go first.
Thank you. So in closing, I'd just like to say I'm very passionate, like I said in the beginning, about education. I've dedicated my life to it. I've worked in Title I schools, and I've worked in community colleges and universities. And in order for our students to be successful and to give back to our community, that everything that we're doing has to be aligned, from the high schools to the workforce to our economic development. I feel I bring a strong presence with all of my relationships, my partnerships, and everything that I've built within my own schools, that I can carry that over into Collin College and be an asset to the board and assist the president in making great decisions and having great policies that will only advance the college and continue to make it maybe one day, not the third best, but the best college. I think that it's on the way, and I want to be a part of that and make sure it gets there.
Thank you. I am passionate about Collin College because I'm very proud of its history. This is its 40th year anniversary. If I am elected, I will only be the second African American and the first African American female with a 12% African American student ratio there. So I'm very proud of being able to stand in this position and say, I would like to be a part of this board to make sure that everybody has an opportunity for education, has an opportunity to have that education financed. Even though we're the cheapest in the state, there are still students who are having a difficult time with the $67 per course hour, and they're afraid they won't get to go to college. I want to make sure they do. I want to make sure that the staff that I have spoken with and the students feel that they have a safe place they can go to, and they can talk to leadership, and they have a culture within Collin College that gives them the right for advancement and also helps them to become successful.
All right, thank you. Thank you both for being here tonight, and we wish you the best of luck. All right, we're going to do a quick reset for the Frisco ISD candidates. We will restart here in a few minutes.
Okay, while we're resetting for the FISD candidates, I want to give you a quick rundown of the order we're going to go in. We will have place 1 first so that we can have our candidates ready to go. And after place 1, we will have place 2. There are no surprises here. You can kind of see the logic, right? But switching them out is going to be the challenge tonight. So please, candidates, make sure that you are ready to roll in on this side of the stage so that we can get you up there quickly. And it looks like if you are here for place 1, please go ahead and make your way to the stage. You'll find your name tag and grab a spot.
Okay, candidates, just a quick reminder of the format for this evening. 1 minute opening statements and a 1 minute for closing. And as Rick asks questions, you'll have a 1 minute response for each. Keep an eye on our timer, Shelby over here. Our timekeeper will give you 30-second warnings and a stop card so you can avoid the bell. While there will not be rebuttals, each of you can challenge one answer by your opponent. Okay, Rick, they're all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Candidates for Frisco ISD Trustees Place 1 are on the stage in ballot order. Opening statements will follow ballot order and continue down the line. We ask that you introduce yourself before giving your opening statement. Amit, we will start with you.
Hello, there you go.
There we go.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Amit Kalra. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm running for Frisco ISD Place 1. I've been a Frisco resident since 2014, and my son is a 6th grader in Hunt Middle School. I've been involved with Frisco ISD through the District Advisory Council, the Capital Projects Committee, the Library Reconsideration Review Pool, the Bond Exploration Committee. Frisco ISD is important to me, and I want to keep the standards up. Education is an important part of me and my family. I'm here to represent all of you. I'm here for the voice of Frisco ISD to move it towards continuous improvement and excellence every day, every way. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Forum and Grace Community Church for hosting us tonight. And this is Suresh Manduva. I am running for Frisco ISD Place 1. I am a proud Frisco resident for the last 21 years and a dedicated community servant. Both my children are Frisco ISD students. My daughter graduated from Centennial High School and my son is in 11th grade. So my vision is simple. So I want to strengthen the communication between the educators, parents, and school board. And I want to support the college readiness programs. And also I want to be local business partnership with the local businesses to give the more opportunities for students and scholarships and all those. And also with that, actually, I want to, I need your support to be as our next board of trustee. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Muni. I am running to serve on the Frisco ISD School Board of Trustees for the Place 1. My vision for the Frisco ISD is very simple. It is student-first agenda. We are fortunate to have an excellent school system in the Frisco ISD. I am running to further enhance the district's academic success by providing the leadership such as academic excellence, fiscal discipline, transparency and accountability, and campus safety. I am a strong advocate for our teachers, parents, and parental rights. I'm uniquely qualified to bring the best fresh voice to our board, and I'm humbled and honored to have your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll jump into the questions. Suresh, we'll start with you. Frisco ISD's enrollment is expected to drop by 7,000 students by 2029, a 10% decrease since the district's enrollment's peak in 2022. With declining enrollment projections, how do you plan to address underutilized facilities and optimize resource allocation within the district?
Yeah, declining enrollment is kind of most of the school districts are facing, but I know Frisco ISD started facing like last 2 years. I think the FISD is like, the current board is taking care of all the necessary arrangements, like, what to do, and the next. They're coming up with the different alternative options to make the schools, I think, always enrollments wise. One is the best one is the Access Frisco, which we invited the enrollments from the other cities so that we can meet the funding needs, and at the same time, we have to be more proactive and advocate for getting the more funds to the school district. So that's all.
Muni, same question. Frisco ISD, with decline in enrollment projections, how do you plan to address underutilized facilities and optimize resource allocation within the district?
Yeah. First of all, we have 77 campuses, and the immediate addresses the elementary schools. There are 44 elementary schools, and there are no new kindergartners to all the way through there is no enrollment for the kindergarten students. I have planned for the increase in the enrollment. The number one, we have to bring the best program to our curriculum so that it will be attractive for the other parents and everybody to move into our Frisco. We hugely invested in our Frisco because of the school system. I want to bring the magnet school. We can convert one of the facilities into magnet school. We have to explore that opportunity because Plano ISD has the magnet school, which is far better. Because of the schools, people will move in to the Frisco, and we can improve our declining enrollment. We can make it more better enrollment.
Amit, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I got it. Thank you. Frisco ISD has excellent programs already in place. Our job is to make sure those programs keep running. That's what sets us apart from the other districts in our neighbors. We have a declining enrollment, and everybody sees that, and that's because people who are living in Frisco, they like living in Frisco, and that's why they're staying here. Access Frisco is an option that's being applied by Frisco ISD. However, even in its first year, we have less than 1,000 students that have enrolled into that program. I believe that the current interest rate that's high, that is also influencing why people are not being able to move out or move into the city. Once that settles, that might change our demographics as well. As far as underutilization of resources, we need to start making estimates. Are we projecting with a higher number when we're starting off with our budget? Or do we need to scale it down to a more middle level when we're starting our projections? That'll help us scale our balance better in more accurate projections and also in better utilization of the resources.
Thank you. Muni, next question, and we'll start with you. Why do you think recent Frisco ISD bond proposals failed? And what, if anything, would you do differently in the future?
So the bond failed because of the there's no clear communication to the voters. So far, we have a $2 billion bond spent all the 77 campuses. And it's too early to call for another $1 billion bond. And already we don't have any bond oversight committee there is no transparency and accountability for the $2 billion they spent already. And again, we are paying $1.2 billion for interest alone. So it is a lot of tax burden for our taxpayers. We have to come up with instead of need, they come up with a wanted list. That's why the voters soundly rejected them. And we have to be fiscally responsible with our tax dollars. And we have to use our taxpayers' fund very responsibly and be transparent to our taxpayers and communicate with all the parents and voters.
Amit, same question.
Thank you. I was part of the bond exploration committee. When we, as a committee, passed the bond program, it was May. It was tabled in front of the board in August, and it was on the ballot in November. I believe there was not enough time for the community to understand all the components of the bond, and they merely saw it as a tax increase. If they actually delved into the details, that it covered the IT infrastructure, the safety and security, the upgrading of our schools, the maintenance, the HVAC systems, and also Staley Middle School was also a part of it. A lot of people did not know the details. I believe that if the details were communicated properly, it would have passed. The other issue was it was clubbed with the waiter. So that's why a lot of people were saying why the bond committee members didn't know what the waiter was. So when we're trying to communicate the message, that was also limiting our ability to communicate. I believe it'll come back again because our needs have not been met yet.
Thank you. Shuresh, same question.
The bonds, actually, I'm a big supporter of that when they originally announced, and then I'm actually at the polling station supporting that and sending the messages out. So, but the main reason I think it's failed because of it's not communicated and explained properly to most of the communities. It's not reached, even though they are big supporters of education. I think they are actually realizing now the impact of it. So because we are meeting the campaign, during my campaign time, when we're meeting and explaining all the people, they said like, no, we should have voted yes. But it's not communicated properly, and then when we're doing like these kind of things, we should have started early. It should have started really early, and then reach out to all the groups like a PTA, and then HOA groups, and then different community groups, and then explain them. It should have been a good hit. So that's what my opinion, but I supported in a big way the propositions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next questions, and Amit, we'll start with you. What specific actions would you ask the state legislature to take to help Frisco ISD address its deficit budget, provide adequate funding for public schools?
Well, we need more funding for our schools, and everybody's aware of that. The funding hasn't increased since 2019, and that's impacting not only Frisco ISD, it's also impacting everybody else. Recently, they just had an increase of just $395, when the actual increase, if you look at the inflation being 22%, it should have been about $1,300. So constant emailing to your state legislators to make sure that they go and fund our programs is very important. Another program that's on the list right now is HB 6 that the state's trying to introduce to control behaviors in the classroom. So there are a lot of bills that are out there, but the general public is not aware of them. It's important that people start becoming aware of these legislators because these affect us, these affect our children, and these affect how our school districts operate. Everybody comes and says that we need these resources and programs, but we need the fund to run these programs. So please email your legislators. Thank you.
Suresh?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Sure. What specific actions would you ask the state legislature to take to help Frisco ISD address its deficit budget and provide adequate funding for public schools?
So, budget deficit is not only just the Frisco ISD, like there are so many school districts are facing the same issues because of we have the less funding from the state and also the incurring costs, like, and also like the lot of new things which need to be implemented. So the main, I think, is like we can control, but mainly is like we can cut down the cost which are related to the school district, not affecting the student, anything related to the student academics or anything, and also mainly as forming an advocacy group. And if I get elected, I will be part of that, and then be advocacy group, and then sending the emails to the legislators. This is the need of the hour. We need a lot of funding for the schools because there is $24 billion sitting at the state level, like without using for anything. I think they can use that. Thank you.
Thank you. Edie?
I would be advocating for to make sure that they increase the funding per student. From 2019, it was set up very low. And even though they are providing they are doing the tax rate compression, they are buying our M&O. That's why we have a very low tax rates. But still, it is not. There are a lot of unmandated requirement they are passing to us. We will be asking them to not to do that. If they put any mandate, make sure they pass the fund to us, and stop the Robin Hood. We want to bring back all our local tax dollars to our district without taking any fund out of our school district. That is the number one priority I would be focusing on the legislation side. And they have to come up with the alternative formula. Instead of going with the WDA, instead of going with the student attendance formula, they have to come up with an alternate plan to increase the school funding, because we are relying on the public education, and make sure that we have a superior school district. They have to provide the fund.
Thank you. All right, it's now time for closing statements. 1 minute each, and we're going to go in reverse ballot order. Uni, we'll start with you.
Thank you for the opportunity to earn your trust. From my time serving as a crossing guard, I have witnessed firsthand the importance of safety, well-being, and education for our children. My commitment to our community runs very deep, and I believe every student deserves the best possible education, one that is safe, supportive, and built on strong foundations. I will fight for every student have the resources they need to succeed, and advocate for policies that strengthen our communities rather than divide it. I'm not simply asking for your vote. I am asking for your support to help our children, and please support me, and I am asking for your support and your vote. My name is Muni. I am running for the Frisco IC Board of Trustees for place 1. Muni for FISD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. And this is Suresh Mandua. I'm running for Frisco ISD Board of Trustee, Place 1, because I want to bring, I'm deeply passionate about the students, schools, and the community. As a parent, community leader, and a long-time Frisco resident, I want to bring and support the students in every walks of life. So I'm actually, I got, I got endorsed by the Frisco Educators panel, and also not only that, and the retired teachers too. And I am not only that, the students, they want to support me. Like I think they started a own social media group to support me, and because they believe in what my vision and then what my tasks are, so they want to support me that way. So I want your support, and you can reach me, sureshforfist.com. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for spending your time with us instead of watching Netflix today. I'm Dr. Amit Kalra. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm running for Place 1 in Frisco ISD. Education is an important part of my family. My mom was a librarian and a director for National Council for Teacher Education in India. My wife's a professor. Wife's been a professor. My mother-in-law's been a teacher. Education has been a part of our family. I recently got endorsed by the Dallas Morning News as the clear choice for the Frisco ISD Place 1. Is education important to you? It is important to me. It is for each and every child that is a part of Frisco ISD, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here with my 5-star formula, which is school safety, teacher empowerment, accountable finances, responsive communication, and student excellence. I am here to serve you. I'm a part of you. I've been amongst you, and I'm here to be your next Board of Trustee. Thank you.
Great. And we want to thank all of you for putting your name on the ballot and wish you the best of luck. Thank you. And we'll take a few minutes here for the next reset and bring up our Frisco ISD trustees for trustee candidates for Place 2.
Place 2 candidates, don't be shy. Come on up, find your name tag, and we'll be ready to roll.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Candidates for Frisco ISD trustees, Place 2, are in ballot order. What we would like for you to do is go ahead and introduce yourself before giving your opening statements. And that opening statement is 1 minute. And Melanie, we'll start with you.
Hello.
There
okay.
we go. That's the trickiest part of the evening is the microphone, no doubt. The questions, not so much. No.
Right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this wonderful event, and to all of you in the audience that showed up tonight, and for those watching at home. Certainly appreciate your attendance. It's time for change in Frisco. I'm just going to dive right in, and it bears repeating. It's time for some change in Frisco. My name is Melanie Barrios Jones, and I'm running for Frisco ISD Board of Trustees, Place 2. We have a lot of things that we need to focus on in the city of Frisco. And as we talk about things going on in our ISD, you're going to get to know my background. I'm a former financial advisor. I'm a mom. I have a kiddo in high school in Frisco. I love this district with all my heart and soul. But I'll tell you, we've got some unique challenges that we're facing, and we need people with a business mindset, a pragmatic approach. And we're going to have the fortitude and the backbone to stand up and say that these are the things that we need to do to make the changes so that we can continue to strive and be the best district in the state.
Renee?
Okay, is it on?
You got it.
Yes. I'm standing up because there's a light in me. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Renee Sample, and I'm running for Frisco ISD Board of Trustees, Place 2. If you have been tuned in to Frisco, then you know I am no stranger to serving the city and the district. I have been serving for 15 years. I got started in the PTA at the elementary and middle schools, and then I became a substitute teacher for 10 years, and I did a long-term sub position. I am currently serving. I am currently an FISD mentor. I'm on the Legislative Leadership Committee, and I'm on the Leadership Frisco Advisory Council. My priorities are community engagement, strategic partnership, fiscal transparency, safety and well-being, and enhance our curriculum. Thank you.
All right, let's jump right into the questions. And Renee, we're going to start with you. Frisco ISD is one of several local school districts that's opening enrollment to out-of-district students to address budget shortfalls. What is your stance on this initiative, and how do you foresee it impacting the district?
So my stance is I applaud Frisco ISD for coming up with a creative solution to help the declining enrollment. Access Frisco has had a lot of positive enrollment, but they're not as high as they want to be. It has closed the gap a little bit, but it has not closed the gap. So we're going to have to still make some budget decisions based on the Access Frisco and its success. And each year, they get to be reevaluated for each student. So we'll have to see, because it's a new program for Frisco ISD, if it is successful or not, and evaluate it every year.
Melanie, would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Sure. Frisco ISD is one of several school districts opening enrollment to out-of-district students to address budget shortfalls. What is your stance on this initiative, and how do you foresee it impacting the district?
That's a great question. So we were actually asked that question before, and I will say that while I appreciate Frisco ISD trying to think outside of the box, only 300 students enrolled for this program. So while it's going to help a little bit, it's going to be not enough to make up our shortfalls. Additionally, one of my concerns about it is that I don't know that this is going to have longevity, right? It's going to be an easy come, easy go. People can come, they've applied, they're going to try it out for a year, and if they decide they don't love it, then they can go back to their home district, and then we've lost those students. We've not captured that money. I think that Frisco ISD needs to focus more on ways to generate income, right? And we need to do that. Bureaucrats are really great at spending money, but they're not so great on how to make money. And those are the things that we should be focusing on as a board to help the district get some things going in place that can help us generate income so that we're not so reliant on student attendance and enrollment size.
Melanie, we'll start with you for this first answer. Let's turn our attention to the State House. School discipline has been a focus of the 89th legislative session. How do you believe Frisco ISD should respond to proposed changes, and what role do trustees play in balancing student accountability and consistency in disciplinary action? And this is specific to House Bill 6.
It kind of does help to stand up. Those lights are crazy. Okay, so Student discipline continues to be a challenge as far as behaviors, and one of the things that we've had in Frisco ISD is lots of bullying and not a lot of student accountability. It's one of the things that I've been focused on. If you know me, you know that my top 3 priorities are fiscal responsibility, school safety, and district transparency. The board needs to make sure that every campus is adhering to the policies that we have in place, and the board needs to also make some new policies, I believe, to increase the strength of those behavior challenges that we're having so that we can manage those children and make sure that we're not having chaos in the classroom. We cannot teach in a chaotic environment if you're a teacher, and we certainly can't learn in a chaotic environment. And I think that every district has its own unique demographics and opportunities, so while the state legislature is trying to do their best to help fortify by making global plans, I think that's a local issue that we need to focus on for us. And we know our kiddos better than anybody, but at the end of the day, we have got to shore up our behavior problems that we have.
Renee, would you like to repeat the question? Okay. School discipline has been a focus of the 89th legislative session. How do you believe Frisco ISD should respond to proposed changes, and what role do trustees play in balancing student accountability and consistency in disciplinary actions? And this is in relation to House Bill 6.
So for me, I had the opportunity of being on the School Board Leadership Academy Committee. And one of the roles of the school board is only policies and procedures. We're really not over people. 2 things I think we should do: students and policy. Students, in that we need to meet with our students and figure out why they do not want to share anything about bullying. They are afraid for some reason, but we need to get to the students, talk to them, and meet with them where they are and meet their needs. Second, policies. We need to review our anti-bullying policy. Frisco ISD has an anti-bullying policy. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it contains? Do the parents know? Do the students know? We need to reevaluate them and make sure they are relevant.
Just a reminder, I mean, you do have your challenge that you can use during this process. So it's a 30-second challenge, and you can challenge the challenge for 30 seconds as well. Next question, and Renee, we'll start with you. What do you believe is keeping educators from entering the profession and causing current teachers to leave? What specific strategies would you support to address these issues and ensure Frisco ISD continues to attract and retain top quality teachers? Renee?
Okay. I actually was a substitute teacher and a long-term sub, so I got a lot of experience being in the classroom, understanding the teacher's needs and the students' needs, and they are tired. I was amazed at how tired I was every single day when I went home. So 2 things. We need to meet the teachers. We need to find out how we can support them. It's not always about the money. And for teacher retention, who's the best recruiter for teachers? Teachers. When they're happy, they recruit. They express their happiness, they share it, and so that is what brings in new teachers, young and old, and experienced, into our district. And they are all good and qualified teachers that are here.
Would you like me to repeat the question? Great. What do you believe is keeping educators from entering the profession and causing current teachers to leave? What specific strategies would you support to address these issues and ensure Frisco ISD continues to attract and retain top quality teachers? You have 1 minute.
We're only as good as our labor force, regardless of the industry, regardless of the company. We can put out the best product when it comes to education in Frisco by having the best teachers. Part of that is their pay, and no teacher ever enters into education looking to make $1 million. They do it because it's a calling. They do it because they love pouring into children, and we want to support that, and we also want to reward that. We want to make sure that they're being paid well. Additionally, again, with behaviors, I think that a lot of young people don't want to go into teaching because they're afraid of what they're hearing on the news about things that are happening in the classroom. It's everywhere. One last thing, in Frisco in particular, it's expensive to live here, and most of our teachers commute in. And one of the ideas that I shared with the instructional support team was to offer a commute incentive for our teachers to help them offset the cost of gas, wear and tear on their car and tires, so that it makes it worth it for them to stay in Frisco and not go to a district that's closer to home.
Okay, it's time for closing statements. You each have 1 minute each, and we'll go in reverse ballot order, which means, Renee, we'll start with you. 1 minute.
As a parent of 4 FISD graduates, I have seen firsthand the impact the district has on young lives, and that is why I have chosen to serve, and I choose to continue to serve. When you vote, don't you want someone who understands Frisco Education Foundation? Someone who has not only been at the district committees, but also understands the board's roles and responsibilities? Someone who has been in the classroom and recognizes the challenges of the teachers and the students? That is me. I am here to advocate for parents, students, teachers, and our community. Let's build tomorrow together, because our students deserve nothing less. Vote for Renee Sample.
Thank you.
Melanie, 1 minute.
I've been a mom for 30 years. I've been volunteering in classrooms for 30 years. I've been on multiple committees inside of Frisco ISD. I'm a member of the business community. I know exactly what's happening inside of our schools. I go to budget meetings. I go to budget workshops. I see everything that's happening inside of Frisco. And I'm telling you right now, we cannot continue to vote for the same thing and the same kind of people that the establishment wants to push on us over and over again and expect different results. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Exactly. If you look at the last 3 elections, we've had 3 Frisco Education Foundation candidates running for school board. What does that tell you? We need diversity of thought, which is what I bring. We need diversity in makeup, which is what I bring. I would be the first Afro-Latina on the school board. I'm a special education parent. I'm on fire for public education because it's a cornerstone of America. If we want to do well and succeed and have our children be that for America, it starts with public education. They compete on a local, a state, a national, and a global level for us. This is why we are here. I am here for every parent, every student, every teacher in Frisco.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you both for being on the ballot. We wish you the best of luck. We will now take a break as we bring up the candidates for Frisco ISD Trustees Place 3. Okay, great. We now have the candidates for Frisco ISD Trustees Place 3 on the stage. What we ask is that you go ahead and introduce yourself before giving your 1 minute opening statement, and we're going to follow in ballot order. Continue down the line. It's a very short line. And Stuart, we'll start with you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for hosting us, Chamber, tonight. My name's Stuart Schulman, and I'm the challenger for Place 3 on the Frisco ISD School Board. I've spent the last 20 years as an education professional, working both in the public schools, at the university level as a professor teaching education majors, and also as a small business owner, working with teachers and students all across the nation. I currently serve as a PTA board member at the elementary school level, where my son is a first grader and my daughter is going to be starting kindergarten next year. So I have firsthand experience with all aspects and all levels of Frisco ISD. You can see all my goals and my visions on my website, Stuart for FISD.com. The only one I want to really emphasize tonight is that I'm here to represent you. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, or where you come from. I'm here to represent everyone. I'm not coming in with an agenda or an ideology. I'm just here because I have an ethic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie, you have 1 minute.
Good evening. I'd like to start tonight by asking everyone in the audience to please, when you go home tonight, please pray for Frisco ISD. We've been through a lot in the past couple of weeks, you may have heard, and our community is suffering right now, and if you could all just take a moment when you get home to pray for not only the city of Frisco, but Frisco ISD, I'd appreciate it. My name is Stephanie Alad. I am running for Frisco ISD Board of Trustees, Place 3. I am running for re-election. 3 years ago, I stood before you and asked for your support in the election, and the community kindly elected me to this role. I believe that I have proven to be who I said I was, and I've proven to do what I said I would do. It was a very different Frisco ISD 3 years ago. We have new challenges ahead of us tonight. We have enrollment challenges, budget challenges that did not exist in the same way 3 years ago, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about that this evening, but we are definitely at a crossroads. Thank you.
Thank you. And Stephanie, we will start with you with our first question. You know, so far tonight we've talked about declining enrollment projections for Frisco ISD. We've talked about the launch of the Access Frisco program to open enrollment to out-of-district students. What specific actions would you take, would you ask the state legislature to help Frisco ISD address its deficit and provide adequate funding for public schools?
You're asking about legislation?
Yes.
So what I would ask the legislature to do is what I have asked our legislators who are part of Frisco ISD to do, which is two things. Address the daily allotment, the per student allotment that hasn't been adjusted in 5-6 years now. We can't continue to have inflation outpace us, and so we need to address that, number one. And we need to also make sure that it adjusts for future inflation so we don't have to keep going back to the legislature every couple of years for an increase. The other thing that I think is very important that isn't talked about too often is unfunded mandates, and I've talked about this with our legislators as well. The legislature passes a bill, expects the school districts to implement it, and they don't provide the funding to do that. And there's been bills around school safety, there's been bills around STAR testing, and so the district has to find the funds from other places to do that. And when I talk to our legislators, I ask them to please address those two things. That would make a huge difference in our budget.
Stuart?
So the first thing I would ask them to do is there's $28 billion in the rainy day fund that's just sitting there being held hostage. They need to release at least half of that and dip $14 billion back into the public schools for the 5.5 million kids that are in public schools. I'd also ask them to stop considering HB3. We don't need vouchers for private schools. It's just ridiculous. We need to fund our schools based on enrollment, not on average attendance. We have a very high attendance rate at 95.5%, but we lose out on $17 million a year that we have to plan for, but the state never sends us because of the enrollment. I also agree that we need an inflation adjustment every year based on what's happening in the economy, and the unfunded mandates are really breaking us. Just in transportation, safety and security, and special education, we have a $65 million unfunded and underfunded mandate right there, and it's just taking away from everything else.
Stuart, we'll start this question with you. You know, again, considering House Bill 6, school discipline has been a focus in the state legislature this session. How do you believe Frisco ISD should respond to proposed changes? And what role do trustees play in balancing student accountability and consistency in disciplinary actions?
So as a trustee, the main job here is to be listening to our stakeholders. We need to be listening to our teachers. We need to be hearing from our administrators, listening to parents and to students. There's 4 large groups and large components there that may not see eye to eye on what the exact fix may be or what is causing some of these situations. So it's bringing everybody together to hear their voices, hear their concerns, and find where we can meet each other. Because we're not always going to see eye to eye, but we're going to have different perspectives. The needs at the elementary school level are going to be different than the middle school level. So in terms of policies, it's listening to them and enacting them and giving direction and guidance to the administration at a campus level to make sure they're meeting the needs of those individual students, because every campus is different. That's why we have community-based schools.
Stephanie?
Can you repeat the question for
I
me?
would love to.
Thank you.
It has my favorite word in it, consistency, which I've had a hard time with tonight. I apologize. School discipline has been a focus in the 89th legislative session. How do you believe Frisco ISD should respond to proposed changes, and what role do trustees play in balancing student accountability and consistency in disciplinary actions? And this is concerning House Bill 6.
So my understanding is House Bill 6 would allow for districts to have a little more leeway in dealing with certain disciplinary issues. What I would say to that is I don't know how I would answer, how I would respond to that, because who knows exactly what the bill's going to look like if it gets passed and gets to signed into law. So it's hard for me to kind of speculate on what that would look like. In general, though, I do think that there are some situations that we have seen in the schools where teachers and administrators were not able to address some of these issues in the way that they would like to, and that would cause disruptions in the classroom. And so I think at the point at which disciplinary issues are causing disruptions in the classroom, whether it be a one-time or on an ongoing thing, those issues need to be addressed. The board can pass policies. Obviously, we can't pass anything that conflicts with the state law, but we can pass policies to help address those things, and I've been part of the policy committee and have been part of certain policies that didn't work for the district and making sure that those got changed in this regard.
And Stephanie, we'll start with you on this question. In your perspective, what lessons can be learned from the recent failed Frisco ISD bond proposals? And what do you see as the next steps forward for the district?
So I was the one trustee who voted against the bond package as presented, and I'll tell you the reason why I voted no, because it was too much for our community. It was over $1 billion. It had some things in there that were needs and not wants, or excuse me, wants and not needs, in my opinion. And there was also a tax increase. And it was just too much for our community. Our community is suffering. They're having trouble paying their rent, their mortgage, their gas, all of those things. And I felt it was too much. So I voted no, and the voters then agreed with me. What has happened since in Frisco ISD is very exciting to me. I actually had a committee meeting probably about a week after the bond failed on the ballot in November, and that group had already come up with things to do to save money because they weren't going to get what had been part of the bond package. So what we need to do is go back, regroup. There may be another bond down the road someday, but I think it will be much smaller and much easier for our community to accept. But we need to figure out how to deal with the needs that we have with the money that we have.
Stuart, would you like me to repeat the question? In your perspective, what lessons can be learned from the recent failed Frisco ISD bond proposals, and what do you see as the next steps forward for the district?
Lessons learned. It's communication, communication, communication. It's context. It's understanding the need and the why. That was greatly lacking. We can tussle over the amount and the numbers of it, but the needs still existed, and they still exist. We need safety and security updates. We need technology updates. We need new school buses. Our facilities need maintenance. Those things cannot be accomplished with the current funding formula. It is the best way to do those things. I don't think that was expressed in a way that was communicated and to a level of understanding. Even by the own survey that the FISD did, 40% of people didn't realize that it wasn't going to relate into, or wasn't going to actually increase the taxes. It was going to get rolled into the current 27-cent INS, and there was going to be no increase. This was not explained well enough, and the state language at the bottom in bold capital letters did not help that case.
Thank you. Can I add something to that? I guess it would be my challenge.
You have a challenge, 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I'll take that now. So I think that communication is easy to say that that's an issue, but I don't know about everyone else. I got 4 mailers to vote yes on these bonds and tax increases to my house. There were signs at every campus, and there were multiple district communications regarding this matter. So I don't think that it was communication, because there was a ton of communication supporting this bond. And so I do think that it was too much for the community, and that is why those bonds failed.
You want to challenge the challenge? 30 seconds.
Signs are not context. Mailers are not context and details, okay? It's an alert to, let's do the homework together. I'm on the PTA board. We had members of our board. The next day, it's like, well, what do you mean we're not going to get the new buses? What do you mean we're not going to get a new Staley? They'll just find a different way. They'll just use the other money that they have. Well, there's no other money. When we have PTA board members that don't understand the context and the reason and the why, we did a poor job of communication.
All right, it's now time for closing statements for 1 minute each, and we'll go in reverse ballot order. That means, Stephanie, we'll start with you. 1 minute.
Did you say closing statements?
Closing statements.
That went fast. Okay. So I am very pleased to stand before you tonight with the endorsements of several leaders in our community, including Frisco ISD parents and elected leaders, Jared Patterson, Daryl Hale, Brian Livingston. I've also been endorsed by Senator Angela Paxton, Pam Little of the State Board of Education, and the Dallas Morning News as of yesterday. But I want to tell you about an endorsement that I got a couple months ago that means more to me than any of those. It was from a teacher who works in Frisco ISD. She came up to me after a recent community input night, and she said to me, I did not vote for you in 2022, but I just watched you for 2.5 hours listen to community members, and I could tell that you were listening, and I could tell that you cared. And for that reason, I'm going to vote for you this time, and I'm going to tell everyone I know. That meant more to me than any of these other endorsements, although I'm very grateful. I'm here to serve our teachers. I'm focused on teacher retention. Stephanie Alad, place 3. Thank you.
Stuart, 1 minute.
Hello again, Stuart Schulman, the challenger in place 3. I'm proud to be running with no PAC money. I'm proud to be running, not trying to get endorsements from political agendas or ideologies. I'm just running as a parent. I'm running as a teacher, as an educator, and as a community member, just like all of us. I'm running because my kids are just starting, and I want to make sure that a decade from now, we have the best possible schools with the most innovative things possible here in Frisco. That's why I bet every single one of you moved here, because of the schools and because of the region. I'm here to make sure that we still have that, and then you've got a reasonable voice in the room when the hard decisions need to be made and when the great decisions need to be made. Because I'm here to listen, I'm here to learn, and I'm going to show up when it's hard, when it's easy, every time it's needed. Thank you.
We want to thank both of you for being on the ballot and stepping up to serve your community. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we'll take a quick break and bring up our Frisco City Council candidates, starting with place 2. right, are we ready? Good. All right, welcome candidates for Frisco City Council Place 2. They are on the stage in ballot order. What we ask is that you please introduce yourself before giving your opening statement. You have 1 minute, and Bert, we'll start with you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bert Thacker. I'm running for Frisco City Council Place 2. I'm running because I love Frisco. It's the best place I've ever lived. And I'm running because I see incredible opportunities to not only preserve Frisco, to maintain the essence of what it is, but also to bring innovative ideas that affect a lot of issues, from traffic to supporting small businesses to job creation. And part of this involves figuring out ways to lower our sales tax, figuring out ways to bring new jobs, good jobs, that allow the next generation of Frisconians to be able to purchase a home here, and also to take care of the needs of our community. I would love to learn more about you and your individual needs, and if you'd like to learn more about me, please definitely go on my website, www.bertforfrisco.com.
Yeah, now it's good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sai Krishna, and I'm a registered nurse, and I'm running for Frisco City to represent my Frisco residents. That's the biggest challenge what we have today, the community engagement. I want to be your voice in the city, and I take fiscal responsibility. Being a nurse, we are accountable for the actions, what we do, what we take on the floor with the patients. Same way, I want to take a fiscal responsibility for our community residents' dollar amounts, what we are paying as a tax. We don't want the tax dollars to go up or wasteful and then come back again and get penalized ourselves on the property tax. So I'm very big on community engagement and fiscal responsibility. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Frisco Chamber, for having us. I'm Tammy Minershagen, and I currently serve on your Frisco City Council. My husband Todd and I moved from Chicago in 2004 to Frisco, and we raised our 3 beautiful girls here in the safest city with the best schools. We have grown up with the city of Frisco, and in fact, we've watched the city grow 500%. But I've taken a very proactive role in shaping the city that I want to see, whether it was helping my neighborhoods, council of PTAs, multiple nonprofit arts, education, and city boards. I have made a positive impact in Frisco, and in fact was honored to receive the Spirit of Frisco Award in 2017 by the Frisco Chamber. I believe that Frisco deserves a leader that is informed, balanced, and transparent, somebody who has an actual track record of doing things, and I look forward to sharing with you my track record tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. So just a reminder, with questions, you have 1 minute to answer. And you do have a 30-second challenge that you can use. And you can also challenge the challenge back for 30 seconds as well. So Sai, we'll start with you. And I don't think this will be a surprise, but the first question is going to be around the Frisco Center for the Arts. The Frisco City Council has placed measures on the May 3rd ballot regarding the proposed Frisco Center for the Arts. What is your position on this initiative? And how do you envision it impacting the cultural and economic landscape of Frisco? You have 1 minute.
That's a great question, which is a pressing question today in the Frisco. I'm against that. I'm not against the Performing Arts Center, but I'm against the ticket, what they're planning to spend $340 million on that just building. And from that, the city doesn't even know how much ROI is going to come with that $340 million investment. We are in a debt of $687 million, and we are paying $35 million in interest every year. And last in 2023, all the residents voted for a general obligation fund, which is $474 million. Out of that, $90 million is used for security and other things, but there is a rest of money sitting there. So why do we need another $160 million on the ballot? How are we going to repay that? How is it going to happen? They're going to come back on the property tax in next to 2 years. You can write it down this. Thank you. I'm against it.
Tammy, same question. The Frisco City Council has placed measures on the May 3rd ballot regarding the proposed Frisco Center for the Arts. What is your position on this initiative, and how do you envision it impacting the cultural and economic landscape of Frisco?
Well, I'm a red hot yes on both A and B. I believe that we're building a great city, but we've got to build a complete city. And there's two things really about the Center for the Arts. If you want all the facts on it, you do need to go to smartfriscopac.com and learn the facts. But there's two real why questions that you need to understand about this Center for the Arts. And the first would be that we're trying to build not just headquarters in Frisco, but a home quarters. And what that means is we're losing residents to arts and culture options, which is a data-driven problem. This is a solution to that. But then it does attract headquarters. We have talked with our EDC. We are missing out on certain companies who are saying they're not choosing Frisco because we are not well-rounded. We have to think about the highest and best use of every parcel of land. This is a prime area where we've got partners at the table, and this vote is about whether Frisco gets to join the table with the current partners and continue forward on the contracts and the negotiations. So I am a big vote yes. Thank you.
Bert, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't think it's a surprise that I am against Prop A and B. I've spoken about it ad infinitum. But the question you asked, sir, is what do I feel about the cultural impact of the Performing Arts Center? I want to shift the zeitgeist a little bit and talk about the power dynamic shift that could happen. In a recent post, Mayor Cheney wrote that the champion for the Performing Arts Center would get an incredible boost in the mayoral race if this Performing Arts Center passes. As the mayoral race is heating up, I want to ask my opponent, Tammy Meinerschnagen, if she is running for mayor. And if that is the case, would she be willing to talk about it and save the Frisco taxpayers' money for a special election if she does intend to run for a mayor?
You're welcome to challenge that question if you wish. That's your only challenge, yes. So as a follow-up, I'm actually going to open it to allow you 1 minute to expand on your stance on the Frisco Center for the Arts as an open-ended question. So we're going in order, and Tammy, you would be first. You have 1 minute to speak specifically to your stance on the Frisco Center for the Arts. Please go.
So 3 things to know about the Frisco Center for the Arts. It will not raise your property taxes. It will not raise your property tax rate. It will not raise your property tax rate. Okay, so that's the most important thing you need to know. It will not raise your property tax rate. I think when people are thinking about the times are hard in Frisco or that you are having trouble with multiple jobs, I think that's kind of the narrative that we're hearing. You know, what is an economic engine that we could bring to Frisco that will allow us to be able to do more and have our property tax rate go lower? I would also wonder, do our candidates, were they against the Toyota Stadium redevelopment that also took out of the same funding mechanism that we are using to make it better for our FC Dallas? Same funding mechanism. I didn't hear a peep from anyone about being against that. This is exactly what's happening for the Arts Center, but with state law change, we cannot just do that. We have to have a vote. So that's,
Thank you, Tammy.
That's all I have to say. I have much more to say, but
Bert,
that's all.
thank you. Same to you, Bert. You'd be next. You have 1 minute to expand on your stance on the Frisco Center for the Arts, the proposed Frisco Center for the Arts.
So my opponent had nothing to do with the Toyota Center. This is a completely different funding vehicle that we're talking about. We're talking about using the EDC, the CDC funds, as well as the TERS funds to fund almost half of a $380 million Performing Arts Center. What I argue is this. I look outside in downtown and I see small businesses that are hurting because they don't have roads that are being fixed. You know what? We could have used the EDC to help fix those roads. We could have used the CDC funds to fix the sidewalks. And if we had done that, it might have been possible to use a portion of the general funds. I mean, heck, maybe we could have spoken and talked about issuing a one-time grant or a set of relief for the small businesses that are ready to close down in downtown. And I've spoken to 3 of them that are really upset because all they're getting are banners. So just on that nature alone, is this the best use of our funds at this point when right now people care about traffic, jobs, and taxes?
Sai, same question to you. You have the ability 1 minute to expand.
There are better ways or better options for us to invest money in the Frisco. We can bring like a 5 top-rated universities to the city, so our kids can go to that university. They can pick and choose whatever they want to be in their future. So we have to build our future for our kids with the education. So there are a lot of performing arts centers. Yesterday we were at the Dallas News. They said they are struggling in Dallas and they are going on the property taxes now. So there are, performing arts centers, FISD is building one, and Allen has one, Richardson has one. Why do we need one? Why don't we think different? Why don't we innovate something different, bring something different to the city, make a global leader, bring universities to top tech, make a top 5 universities, create a technology hub, create an innovative research medical centers. We don't have a teaching medical center here. Why don't we bring that one instead of bringing a performing arts center here? We can use that. We can use Richardson. We can use Plano. We can use Allen. We can use FISDs. We are partnershiping with the FISD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On March 4th, the City Council approved the 2040 plan. And by the way, the 2040 plan is 188 pages long. I actually tried to print it out, but I ran out of paper. So this is about half of the 2040 plan. What areas of the plan are you most excited to see come to fruition? And Bert, actually, we'll start with you.
I read it, and first of all, I just wanted to thank the people who came up with that enormous tome and had that foresight. I love the ideas that are in there for the parks. I love the ideas that are in there for figuring out ways to streamline transportation, to try to think and have that foresight. But while the 2040 plan is good, I want to talk about the 2025 plan that we're facing right now. I just spoke to a lady in Frisco Lakes who's 83 years old. She has a heart condition, and she's terrified that because of new developments and facilities that are going to bring 25,000 people a day, she had real concerns that what happens if she has a heart attack and has to call the fire department and they're delayed because of traffic. These are the kind of concerns that people care about right now, and we need to focus on things like that first. And then we can always take care of the rest.
Sai, same question?
Actually, I read that today. Yesterday, I was like a pointer in one of the forum. So I did that today, homework. Thank you. And I have to apologize for yesterday, didn't do it. Okay. Plan is very beautiful. I like it. But instant, we have a problem now with the traffic. We have a problem with the finance. We have a problem with money. We cannot keep borrowing the loans. We cannot keep paying the interest of $35 million a year now. And moving forward, it's going to go up if we keep borrowing the money. We need to think what is important now. And did anybody ask what the residents need? Nobody. Nobody has asked what residents need. It's all about what they wanted. We need to change the way we are doing business in the city. I'm very honest with you. And if anybody texts me, I'm rude, yes. We need to change the way we are doing business, and we are not asking a residents what they need in the city. It's everything about what they want on the city. Now, this is not the right way. If you do the math, we are in a deficit. Thank you.
Thank you.
We actually did ask the residents. Am I on? Testing? Okay. We actually did ask the residents what they want. We actually appointed 40 of them for the 2040 comp plan. So we do listen, and I'm thankful that the input was there, that we were updating the 2015 comprehensive plan, and in fact had 2 folks that were in the 2015 plan join us for this one. So we have continuity of planning. And one of the things that I really liked was that, we're going to continue with the urban core. That's where a lot of the people density will go. But one of the newer things that was added to it was the concept of districts in our city. So you can go from a southern district to a mid-district to the northern district, which has really evolved over time for Frisco. and how we're going to move people around. So as part of the Regional Transportation Council, I work with 45 elected leaders talking about transportation. We actually met today at the new National Medal of Honor Museum talking about Transit 2.0, and that is the future of transportation for the next 50 years.
Thank you.
I want to challenge this.
Okay, Sai, you can challenge.
Okay. I'm challenging this. Nobody asked anybody. I can challenge this. There are 14 propositions on the ballot. Does anybody know what it is all? All about the powers. They can do whatever they want. It's all about benefiting themselves. We saw that. I mean, have you seen that? I'm asking you questions now. Yeah, absolutely. 14 propositions. Does any residents know what it is? What to vote for? What to vote for? You tell me. That's what. Everything is for the policies, what they're doing it. They're not, nobody's going to the residents.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you.
Is that a challenge to me? If I answer, does that mean I don't get my challenge?
Exactly. This would be your challenge. Okay. Okay, next question. Sai, you'll go first with this one.
Yep.
Okay. With major projects like the Main Street redevelopment and the renovations at Toyota Stadium underway, how would you, if elected as a representative of the city, ensure that these large-scale projects are balanced with the everyday needs of the local residents and small businesses?
No, I agree with that. That's a beautiful what they're doing, extending. It was very congested and on the main street, and whatever that the road development, that infrastructure is most important in this city, and I agree. And is it right? I answered your question.
What would you do to ensure, if elected, to balance those large-scale projects with the everyday needs of citizens and small businesses?
Yes, I support that one with everyday needs and with the infrastructure. I'm big on it. Infrastructure is the most important to develop any city. Okay. Did I answer the question? Did I answer it?
Tammy?
So it's vitally important that we're always in communication. I believe that everything really hinges on trust and communication. And in our downtown, especially if we're looking at the 4th Street Plaza and all the improvements that are going in there, it's a great vision, but we can't do it without each of you. And relying on our chamber as well, with the folks that are intimately involved with each of the businesses, that's how I believe we can balance the large-scale growth, the big roller town coming, the redevelopment of Toyota Stadium, with all the unique local flavor businesses that are in downtown. And that's how we can grow together. We have also implemented connecting our EDC with our local businesses. This is something we've never done before, but in my first term, I'm very proud that we came up with some plans in order to merge that gap, bridge that gap to make some of the dollars work for our local. So we're helping with the marketing. We have also assisted by getting a downtown liaison and funding that. We're looking at grants from the EDC and CDC, so that's how I would do it.
Bert?
Well, I like one of the legislative motions of the Frisco Chamber of Commerce, which is talking about future-proofing. I believe future-proofing is going to be very important here in Frisco. But part of that is leveraging the needs of what Frisco's vision is versus with the people that we have here. I've spoken to many small businesses who feel that the city council doesn't care about them. I spoke to one business owner who said, I wish they cared about my opening as much as they did for the opening of some of these major projects. I think that's a big disconnect. And going back to the point that I said earlier about the EDC and the CDC funds, yeah, why are we not leveraging the EDC funds for road expansion? Why are we not leveraging the CDC funds for expansion of sidewalks? Why aren't we working with the small businesses that are here on Main Street so we can do road projects and do them in a sequential way that still gives them an opportunity to have their business? And while we're at it, why not expand fiber and infrastructure?
For 2025, the City Council replaced its top 10 priorities list with the City Council's 2025 Progress in Motion list, which I have right here. Which of the focuses on this list do you believe are the most important for the remainder of 2025? And Tammy, we'll start with you. 1 minute.
Well, city council work sessions and these priority lists, that's really my favorite part of being on council, because we get to talk more holistically about our city and what are the needs and what is the direction we want to go. I was excited to be able to champion 2 of those priorities this year. One of them is our heritage in Frisco. We are growing into a large city. We're already to 130,000 people. We're going to grow to about 330,000 according to our new comp plan. And we do need to know what our history is. So we're going to be doing more of that intentionally. There's also obviously the mobility and transportation. If we don't figure out this problem, we are going to have gridlock, which is what we left in Chicago, and we're going to have to figure that out for the 12.5 million people that are supposed to be in North Texas by 2050. And then obviously for the Art Center, you know, this is something that, again, is larger than life for the city of Frisco. It's going to be a game changer for our city. It's going to be a 50 to 100 year asset that is working for us, and so I'm excited that that's still on the list.
Bert? So once again, I'll talk about this need for future-proofing Frisco, but also taking care of the needs of the citizens of Frisco. Right now, there are a number of needs that we're not taking care of. I speak to many people about the lack of engagement, for example, with the Chamber of Commerce, knowing about women-owned small businesses, disabled veteran-owned small businesses, minority business enterprises, figuring out how to do business with the state, local, and federal government. I think that the access to fiber and infrastructure is very important. The east side of Frisco does not look like the west side of Frisco, and that is a problem. In fact, if you go outside of here in downtown, you'll find a lot of streets without sidewalks. And I think that with the expansions that are coming out, if we are not taking care of the basic needs of people, we're going to be in a serious issue. And I, for one, think that we should be less concerned about making Frisco a destination city as opposed to taking care of the residents of the city.
Sai, 1 minute.
I like one on the technology, what the city proposed. We need to create Frisco as a technology hub and also a research hub. Bring a teaching medical institution. And green space, most important. We need oxygen to breathe. Otherwise, we are going to die, everybody, one day, without oxygen. If it's all concrete, I'll tell you. So, for me, main important is creating jobs, generating the revenue for the city before we spend. We need to have a surplus revenue first, and then we can spend. It's just, we need to follow the Maslow law. What does the Maslow law says? Basic needs, then safety, security, then lavishness. Let us follow that. We are somewhere lost the track in the city, and we are heading in a wrong direction, which going to penalize all the residents in future. Not near future, not in future, near future, just in 2-3 years. It is going to be big, drastic pain for all the residents living in Frisco.
Thank you.
Okay. Last question. What do you see as the greatest opportunity for Frisco in the next 3 years? And how would you propose maximizing it to benefit our community? And Bert, we'll start with you. Yes, what do you see as the greatest opportunity for Frisco in the next 3 years? And how would you propose maximizing it to benefit our community? Greatest opportunity. 1 minute.
I think the greatest opportunity that Frisco has for the next 3 years is electing me and electing new blood into the city council. I think it's time we got rid, thank you, I think it's time that we got rid of outmoded ideas that are trying to just push for making us DFFW, a destination city, instead of taking care of our needs. We have single moms who don't have centers to place their kids with disabilities. We have young people who are scared about their rising cost of rent. The average cost of a home is $550,000, and we don't have a surplus of good-paying jobs. We have 6,000 acres of land left here, and as opposed to just figuring out what to do to bring attractions, how about we bring in high-tech manufacturing, we bring in medical research, we build a hydrogen fuel cell power plant, we build data centers. We do things the right way.
Sai, 1 minute.
Yep. We have a lot of opportunities in the Frisco still. We are not lacked out. I mean, we are not drained out. We can bring employees, the top employees into the city, create jobs, create a revenue, support the small businesses. So they are the backbones of this city. If we don't make change now, or if you're not prepared to make change now, we are going to end up with a pain. That's, I can tell you. Prevention is better than curing. This is I'm using my medical terminology. We don't want to take a treatment later. Why don't we prevent before going into doctor? I don't want to send doctor's family to the vacation. I want to go vacation. Put it that way. This is what I was telling my patients. You don't come end up in hospital setting. You enjoy outside. Don't send doctor's family vacation. That means you be healthy. So let us focus together and create a mass, bring employers here, create a jobs. Our fund can utilize here. Our parents, we are all sending our kids to different states for the universities. So we can use the same revenue here. Frisco, thank you.
You know, to build a sustainable city, you do have to generate revenue. And for a city, there's only a couple ways you can do that. Number one, you can tax your residents, which does happen. We're fortunate that in Frisco, we have one of the lowest rates in our surrounding area, and that's from the hard work of our staff to figure out what can we do to maximize each dollar. So that's one side of it, but then the other side is the sales tax revenue and the opportunities we have to create catalytic transformational projects that refill that sales tax bucket. So if you can have a golden goose that continues to lay eggs that you can do things with that continue to actually fund themselves, which is a lot of these projects that we approved. We actually approved $300 million in different projects this year that did not touch your property taxes and allowed us to lower your rate. So I think those are the opportunities we have in Frisco, is to come up with smart ways to leverage every dollar so that our citizens have the best experience here.
All right, Tammy, don't sit down. You're going to be first here. So it's time for closing statements. We'll go in reverse.
I do have a challenge question.
You do? You have a statement.
It's a challenge
statement.
It's not a
statement.
question?
It's a statement.
Okay, I'll turn it into a statement. So one of my opponents has run for Congress in 2022 in California and lost, and then came to Texas, into Frisco, and ran for Congress again and lost, and now is running for city council. I know that I heard a challenge about the mayoral run, but really, I guess I would like to know what one accomplishment have you made in the city of Frisco, as well as, whether this is just a stepping stone for Frisco, and I would assert that's what this is.
Challenge statement? Perfect. My opponent got into office without a single vote being cast. And when my opponent ran, a special election was canceled. And for the last 3 years, she has been serving on the city council. And once again, she didn't answer the question if she's running for mayor. I ran because I wanted to change things. I saw the suffering at the southern border, and I couldn't stand for our borders not to be secured. I didn't like the fact that we were funding wars overseas, and I wanted to make a difference because healthcare was too dang expensive.
Thank you. All right. We will go to closing statements, and again, we will go in the rotation of ballot order, and Tammy, you will go first. You have 1 minute.
You know, I believe that credibility as a leader is not on how many times you campaign, but on actually getting things done. And you can look at all of my accomplishments before I got onto council and then also onto council in 2022 on my website at tammyforfrisco.com. But I do want to go over some of those highlights with you. So, number one, Safe the City in Texas. Number one, job market in Texas. Brought 10,432 jobs, secured our very first Fortune 100 TIAA. We also solved the hole on the toll. We opened UNT Frisco, PGA Frisco, Kaleidoscope Park, opened the new library. We came up with a vision for Grand Park, and we also ushered in the Frisco Renaissance. We had $70 million going into our downtown to create a transformational place, a destination, and all of this while lowering your tax rate 3 years in a row, implementing a senior tax freeze, and increasing your homestead exemption to 15%. So I look forward to doing this even more in my second term. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bert, you have 1 minute. Oh, sorry, Cy. My apologies.
I take a fiscal responsibility, and anybody who does any action, they should be accountable. And it's a people money. It's not their own money to spend like right and left, however they want, whatever the plan they want. We have to consider all the residents, in taking consideration all the residents before we initiate any plan, any policies in the city. Residents gives a right and vote people with a trust. We cannot deceive that trust. We have to uphold the trust, and I request you, you're not voting tonight. So my humble request, when you go home, go look into the friscotexas.gov and go to the budget and look the budget and the numbers what I'm talking. If it is not there, you tell me back, you call me back. And then, secondly, do your homework before you cast your vote. My humble request is, give me one opportunity, I will make a change. I'll bring a change. Thank you.
All right, Bert, 1 minute.
My opponent mentioned the PGA, the library. These were done by previous city councils. She mentions the TIAA. That's undermining all the work that the EDC did. The thousands of people who are responsible for that. Look, at the end of the day, let's get real. I was in the Navy. I was deployed in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I saw things happen. I saw our country change. I saw how small town America changed because of COVID. I saw how city councils have either helped or ruined cities. And I'll tell you something, I'll be a fighter for Frisco taxpayers. I'm going to be a fighter to make sure that every tax dollar is spent responsibly, that we are going to be funding good projects that have sound fiscal common sense and not getting into financial boondoggles. I'll support the fire and police. I'll make sure that we are funding projects that bring in good jobs. I'll take care of the community. I'll work for those who don't have a voice in our community. And most importantly, I will fight for you, Frisco, if you give me the chance.
All right, thank you to all of you for joining us this evening. We'll go ahead and take a break and ask that our candidates for Frisco City Council Place 4 please take the stage.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, candidates, before we start, I do want to make, again, a clarification, please, because it is something different this year to keep us on schedule with a large group of candidates. While there will be no rebuttals, each candidate can challenge one answer by their opponent. The challenge statement will be timed at 30 seconds. Candidates can challenge the challenge, but that will count as their one challenge opportunity. So just wanted to make that clear for this evening since it is a new rule this year. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. Candidates on stage for Frisco City Council Place 4 are in ballot order. We would ask that you introduce yourself before giving your 1-minute opening statement. Josh, we will start with you. Oh, Jerry, perfect timing.
Good evening. Check, check. Mic check. All right. Good evening. My name is Josh Meek, and I am running for Frisco City Council Place 4. And my mission is to keep Frisco on track as a world-class city. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you need to vote for me for Place 4. First is that I'm passionate. I have spent 12 years working within the Chamber, Frisco Chamber of Commerce, the Frisco Rotary Club, different youth programs through the ISD and through the Chamber of Commerce as a mentor. I have been passionate, and this is a community where I'm raising my kids. The second thing is going to be experience. I am the only candidate that has got the most experience with city boards. I've been serving on city boards for 6 years now. The third point is going to be consistency. I have gone to 134 Frisco City Council meetings over 7 years. And the fourth final thing is that I have been endorsed by the incumbent City Council member, Bill Woodard, for this position. My name is Josh Meek, and I'm running for Place 4.
Hi, I'm Jared Alad, and I'm running for Frisco City Council Place 4. Frisco is at an inflection point. It needs strong leaders to keep Frisco strong. I'm that person. As a financial advisor and the owner of a wealth management firm, I manage budgets all day long. I'm going to prioritize and make sure your tax dollars are wisely spent. I'm going to cut out all that wasteful spending that governments do. I'm also going to prioritize projects that bring real value to the citizens of Frisco. Public safety is number one with me. I want to make sure, because we're rapidly expanding, that fire and police have the resources and the support that they can to be successful so our citizens can be safe. Public infrastructure. I want to make sure we have smarter infrastructure projects and also better infrastructure so that citizens can, not only citizens, but business as well, can thrive. Vote for me, Jared Alad, Frisco City Council, Place 4.
My name's Jerry Spencer. I'm running for Place 4, Frisco City Council. I've been doing this for 3 months now, and I've almost forgotten why I originally started, to be honest with you. But thinking back, I started, I've never run for anything before in my entire life, no political office, nothing. But thinking back, I was just talking to neighbors, friends, that sort of thing, just at random. And I thought everything was perfect in Frisco until I started talking to these different people. And I found out that there are a lot of people who were not satisfied with the way things were going. They heard things like making Frisco a destination city, and they were not crazy about the idea of Frisco becoming a destination city. And then I heard this phrase.
Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Thanks, Frisco Chamber, for hosting us. My name is Gopal Ponangi. Along with my wife, Viji, for the last 21 years, we have made Frisco a home. I really love everything about Frisco, and I thank each and every one of you for giving me an opportunity to be a Frisco ISD Board of Trustee for the last 2 terms, starting from 2019. I also had the privilege of being on the board member for the Frisco Economic Development Corporation, where we brought in about 26 projects, and which also includes 4 real estate projects like Firefly, Toyota Reinvestment, and few others. My priorities are very simple. Keep our city safe and secure. Make sure that we are generating more revenue from other resources so that the tax dollars for the individuals will reduce. Focus on the traffic solutions so that our citizens will spend more time at home or hobbies rather than in the cars. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sangeeta Datta, and I'm running for City Council Place 4. From the very early days of my life, I've been already serving in Mother Teresa's home, and I'm still serving in the city of Frisco in different capacities. When I say serving, I'm talking about City Council affiliations like City 101, Leadership Frisco. I'm an ambassador with the Frisco Chamber of Commerce, Leadership Frisco Self by Self, and I've also been the emerging leader winner a couple of years ago. So I can fairly say I've completed my internship before getting into the job, or applying for the job really. From being on food stamps to now being on the Forbes Top 200 in America, I have come a long way with consistency and hard work. And that's the only way I've learned to lead by service. And that's exactly what I bring to the table, to serve the other people around here. I have made an impact already to the people who know me. I plan to make a bigger impact. Thank you.
All right, let's jump into the questions. And again, it probably will not surprise you. We're going to start with a question about the Frisco Center for the Arts. The Frisco City Council has placed measures on the May 3rd ballot regarding the proposed Frisco Center for the Arts. Josh, we'll start with you. What is your position on this initiative, and how do you envision it impacting the cultural and economic landscape of Frisco? You have 1 minute.
I am supportive, and I will be voting for Proposition A and B, and I was taking that stance even before I became a candidate in this race. This is going to be a huge missed opportunity for the city of Frisco if we do not continue to go down this roadway of exploring this project. And quite frankly, you know, if you've read the comprehensive plan, which all of us have stated that we've read, I'm really surprised that all of the candidates do not see how that aligns with that plan related to the economic development, tapping into arts, our land use. There's so many things that align with that comprehensive plan into the Frisco Center for the Arts. There are so many economic benefits, there's so many intrinsic value benefits to it that it would be a huge miss if we do not vote for this and allow council the opportunity to negotiate an ironclad operating agreement.
Jared, 1 minute. You bet I will. The Frisco City Council has placed measures on the May 3rd ballot regarding the proposed Frisco Center for the Arts. What is your position on the initiative, and how do you envision it impacting the cultural and economic landscape of Frisco?
So I'm voting against the project. If you look back just 3 years ago, Frisco ISD, Craig Hall, and the city tried to negotiate a contract to build one, $125 million. It was going to be nice, it was right across from the Star, and I probably would have been supportive of that. But something happened. Something happened and went from 125 to $350 million. This project is way out of scope. I'm not saying that. Craig Hall's saying that. George Purifoy's saying that. The guy that's got his name across the hall, across the where in the municipal building, and now the Dallas Morning News is saying that. They're calling it a vanity project. Not what I'm saying, that's what they're saying. This project should move forward because there's some serious financial structures that are going to impact the citizens of Frisco. I don't have the time to go over, but you can visit with me, and I'll absolutely share it with you anytime you want to talk about it. Thank you.
Jerry, 1 minute.
Okay, we've been talking.
I think it's on.
Okay, sorry. We've been talking about this for a couple of months now, and I am not opposed to a performing arts center. I am in favor of a performing arts center. I am not in favor of the way this performing arts center is being put together. I do not like the use of economic development funds for this project. Originally, I proposed that we do a regional project and we include 1 million people in Plano, Frisco, McKinney, Allen, and Denton, and lower the per capita cost for this project. But I'm getting tired of being against something. I'm going to, if the citizens of Frisco vote for this, if they vote for it decisively, I will support it.
I'm glad that this is on the ballot so that our community can take advantage of understanding the positives about this and the negatives about this and then cast a vote on it. But if this passes, then I'm very confident that it will do very good things for our city, especially from the northern part of it. Especially, it's not only catering to our city, but also to the region. The cultural vibrancy will increase. Also, the halo effect of this center will be felt by the cities around, by the place around it, especially south of 380 and then along the tollway. As you all may be aware that as a nonprofit foundation founder, I have been doing everything based on the performing arts. And then if this passes, then it will be a great plus for the community around us.
Thank you. Sangeeta, 1 minute.
So I've expressed my no towards the Performing Arts Center for several reasons, and I was the only one to actually stand up and on the public hearing day to say no, and it was scary because I had a room full of supporters. But at the same time, when I say the economic development part of it, I definitely agree it will bring a lot of economic development and attract a lot of other businesses, which is going to be great for the city. So that's definitely a pro for it, 100%. My problem is only the way it's being funded right now, and I just don't think that's the way to go ahead with it. I really think there are alternates that we can use and lower the cost on the pocket. I will not use the word tax anymore, but the cost on the pocket, the impact of the money on the pockets can be reduced. That's my problem, that's my challenge. So halo effect, economic development, all that's great. It's just not equating to the number of jobs and everything that's being created around here. That's my challenge. Thank you.
And we would like to give you the same opportunity as we did the other city council candidates for the other place. So this is going to be more of an open-ended opportunity for you to take 1 minute to expand on your stance for this issue. And Josh, we'll start with you.
I think to understand the gravity of what is in front of us right now, we have to go back to the early 2000s, before Frisco became the economic engine that it is. And it's important to go back and understand that we were in a battle for our southern corridor along 121. We are now in that same battle for the northern corridor of 380. And quite frankly, I am thrilled that we ended up not doing that partnership with the ISD and Craig Hall, because now we have an attraction on the northern side of our city that is going to draw people in from Prosper, it's going to draw people in from Salina, and if that had been so far south, I don't think it would have been as effective. The halo effect, the EDC owns that entire property, so when we put this world-class facility there, those EDC property values are going to rise, the property values of Firefly are going to rise, and the same with Fields West, which is going to increase the commercial property tax, and it's going to generate more sales tax revenue from those properties.
Jared, 1 minute.
Can you repeat it, please, the question?
This is your opportunity to expand on your stance on the Frisco Center for the Arts on the ballot.
Richardson, Plano, Allen, now McKinney, they're gonna have a performing arts center or an amphitheater. Dallas Performing Arts and other performing arts centers around the country are not doing well. They're underperforming. I'm not against the arts. I'm just against this specific project. This specific project, we could take the land that we have there and use it for different uses, more commercial uses. It was brought to our attention from the Dallas Morning News that we need more funding because there's no more land. There's only about 15% of the land available. We need to use it for multi-use, bring in more businesses. That will bring in real tax dollars. A performing arts center has minimum wage jobs. I worked them, so did you guys. But that's not the kind of jobs we need. People are suffering, people are frustrated, there's too much traffic, it's only gonna cause more congestion, and we need better paying jobs here. That's what we're using that land for. Thank you.
Jerry? This is your opportunity to expand on your position on the Frisco Center for the Arts.
All right, again, I am opposed to the way it's being funded. I am not opposed to an arts center. I am not certain that this arts center is the arts center that we should do, even if the funding were different. There are too many ifs, ands, and buts about this arts center. If you ask too many questions, the leaders want to shut you down. They don't want to listen to any hard questions. But, like I said, I'm tired of being against something. So if the citizens of Frisco say we are willing to pay for this, if they cast a decisive vote in favor of it, I will support it.
As I said earlier, I'm glad that it is on the ballot so that our community can figure out what is the more details about this and then vote appropriately. Once it is voted, if everyone has selected this opportunity, then once I'm elected as the council member, I will be in the forefront and then make sure that this project is executed timely manner in an economical manner. If it is not, then I know that there is a need for the community for about 300 to 400 seat capacity, community hall, and then I'll work towards it. Either ways, I'm very glad that it is available, it is on the ballot, and then the community will have an opportunity to learn more about it and make an appropriate decision.
The Frisco Art Facility is definitely a very important topic of discussion because it's been there since 20 years. However, I just feel this entire election season or period is all dependent on that one question, which is so not fair. Because when you're choosing your own candidate over here, you're talking about 3 years in office, and this is just one decision-making power that you're getting. We're going to get multiple of those, multiple. So it's very important to have the good attitude and the good common sense ability to make the right decision. The decision should not be based off emotions and scaring people off. Use practicality, use sensibility, and use common sense to make those decisions, to make it happen. Arts is important. We will make it happen, but make it also economical so we can make it good for everybody. That's my say on it. Everything should not be judged on this one context alone. There's lots more to think about. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I could use my prop one more time. On March 4th, the Frisco City Council approved the 2040 plan. It's 188 pages. What areas of this plan are you most excited to see come to fruition? And Jared, we'll start with you, 1 minute.
So I'm most excited about the mobility and transportation. We have a serious traffic problem here. It's starting to be like a major city like LA, Chicago, New York. We've got to get our hands around this thing. We have 237,000 people in Frisco. It's going to be 330,000, and now I'm hearing 368,000 people. What you're experiencing now is a Swedish massage compared to what's coming. We've got to tackle these issues. I was speaking with Jared Patterson, he's the U.S. rep. He just gave major funding for infrastructure for other parts of Denton County, and I said, what about us? Why aren't we fighting for those dollars? He said, Jared, no one ever comes to us, never talks to us. We need to start working better with our local leaders and partners in the area so that we can fund this infrastructure. I'd like to see that happening. Thank you.
Jerry, 1 minute.
in general, I'm interested in the final build out, the final 14% of the city. And I would like to see a really strong effort on the part of the city to get away from sports tourism and go towards 21st century technology, medical research, education. I would like to see a nice hub developed in Frisco, the Frisco area. I am not against doing any of this stuff on a regional basis. It doesn't have to be all Frisco. It can be Frisco, McKinney, Plano, all of us together. But we need to focus on technology and get away from sports tourism.
Mobility and transportation, that's something that is very important to me, and I'm sure that it is important to all of our audience also. Long time ago when I moved here 21 years ago, when there were more cars on the road, then the solution was just add more lanes. But we are not like that anymore. We need to have some smart technologies to be implemented, smart signals, so that we are able to move people very fast from one place to the other. So what I like about this program is that there is focus on microtransit, ride share, use of technology, of course, and then partnership with the neighboring cities, or maybe more partnering with the counties, Denton and Collin counties, transportation departments, so that people are moving fast from one place to other. They are spending more time with their hobbies or whatever they want to do rather than spending time on the road.
For me, it's the cultural master plan that really attracts me, because I'm all about people and cultural integration. It's very important that we understand each other. And as we say, Frisco is a melting pot. And melting pot not only in cultures and diversity, but even encourage diversity in thoughts. So if we think different, it doesn't mean you're an outcast. Appreciate each other for the different opinions that you come, so we can all think likewise, and we can have a debate, a healthy debate, by showing respect to each other. That is super important. And we all can agree to disagree in a couple of ways by showing respect, because our city needs that. We don't need to fight about anything. We can talk it out. Everything has a solution. We have communication. We all are very literate over here. Frisco is an amazing place, and all we have to show is love, kindness, and respect to each other. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm being told we're coming up against time. Oh, Josh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's all
Sorry.
right. I just want to clarify, is what I'm most interested in about the comp plan? What was the question?
What areas of the Frisco 2040 comprehensive plan are you most excited to see come to fruition?
So I think the bringing to life of districting and micro-transportation within those districts, and this is actually something we've been talking about at the CDC level even, is about the transportation between these different districts, specifically to help the rail district, and then potentially with these micro transportation vehicles, having them branded as the rail district, so as they are facing these challenges, people around town know that they are still open, alive, and doing business. So I think the thing that excites me the most, and it's also another reason why I am such a huge fan of the Center for the Arts, is you start to think about, you've got PGA on the northwest, you have the Frisco Center for the Arts on the north side, you then move down into Fields West and Universal, and then you start to push down into some of our older parts of town related to the rail district, and then kind of, where the library is at, a museum district, and being able to move there without having to load kids in and out of out of our vehicles, and actually being able to transport in between those different districts.
All right, Josh, sorry about that. I'm actually being told we're bumping up against time, so we're gonna have time for one more question and then closing statements. And we ended the last session with asking what the greatest opportunity for Frisco is. This time we're gonna ask, what do you think the greatest challenge that Frisco faces in the next 3 years, and what specific strategies would you propose to address it? And Jerry, we'll start with you. The greatest challenge that we face in the next 3 years, and what strategies would you propose to address it?
Well, there are a bunch of them. So I'm kind of not sure where to start, but one thing that has concerned me recently is housing in Frisco. And I'm afraid that what's happening is Frisco is going to become more and more an exclusive city where the broad middle class is not going to be able to afford housing in Frisco. And I would like to see a strong effort made by the city staff, to address that issue. And honestly, I do not have a magic answer, but I think it needs to be put on the city's top 10 list, and a concerted effort needs to be made in that direction.
The biggest challenge at this time is traffic. Right now we are about 240,000 people, and then we are likely to go to 350,000. So while we do that, my solution is twofold. As I mentioned earlier, there are some traffic-related solutions using technology, microtransit, rideshare, all of these are good. But I would also like to leverage my Economic Development Corporation experience so that we are bringing more jobs. When we bring more jobs here, people, the community who are staying here in Frisco instead of going to Dallas downtown or Irving, they'll be working here within Frisco, so that instead of spending 2 hours per day, they'll be spending about 30 minutes, and then they'll have 1.5 hours for themselves. That also helps increase the revenue for our city from not just the homeowners, but also from the hotel stay, sales tax, and so many other things. So by focusing on bringing more corporates and more jobs, we'll be able to resolve several of these issues.
Sure. What do you think the greatest challenge that Frisco faces in the next 3 years, and what specific strategies would you propose to address it?
Sounds great. Thank you. So the biggest challenge of Frisco would be because of its growth. And growth would also bring issues like the traffic part of it, which is the transportation, and the resources from our first responders, be it the public works, be it the police department and the fire department. The good thing of that is we're getting an example, we're getting a trial period. By the FIFA coming in and by the Universal Studios coming in, that's going to allow us to be able to cope with those challenges. So once we get that over here, we'll be in a better position to understand what else do we need. Of course, lowering the taxes is one great thing that we can do, and that could be happening by getting in more jobs over here and creating more jobs over here, which is more localized, so we can tax shift the tax burden slightly more on the corporate sectors. But I think all of this that's coming in over here is going to be a nice learning experience to handle those challenges, so to take on more coming near. Thank you.
Josh, 1 minute.
I think within the next 3 years, the biggest threat right now is the turnover in city council leadership. This right here will be a brand new person. One of these 5 people will be your next council member. You have another council member going to be termed out next year. You have a mayor that's going to be termed out, and you're probably going to see 1, 2, maybe even 3 city council members vacate to run for mayor. So that means a majority on our city council could be made up of completely brand new people. So I think over the next 3 years, it's making sure that we've got really solid candidates, really solid leaders that understand the mechanics of the city and can make decisions that's going to be best for us and our families. The second thing that is not getting enough attention is right now the zoning changes being proposed at the state legislative level. Right now they are trying to change to micro-plotting and restricting the power and capacity the city has for zoning. That is one thing that has not been covered, and that's one thing the Dallas Morning News should be talking about.
And then Jared, 1 minute.
Frisco has become a tale of 2 cities. You have the west side where all the shiny new stuff, the Star, PGA, Grand Park, Kaleidoscope Park, but the east side has been totally neglected. We have a model just south of us, Plano. The east side of Plano now is undesirable. Everybody's moving to the west side. They don't want to live there. That's going to upset the tax base. People are not going to want to live on the east side. We need to do some more balanced growth, community-friendly growth on the east side. I've looked at the 2040 plan. They barely addressed it. There is no major projects. There's no draws for citizens to go to the east side of town. That's a serious problem. We have too many apartments. We need more starter homes. We need more senior-friendly homes so that when people get older, they can downsize, and that will open up more inventory. And the traffic, of course.
All right, now it's time for closing statements of 1 minute each for each candidate. We'll go in a reverse ballot order. Sangeeta, we'll start with you.
I have been walking the talk. What I mean by that is I have been doing their work without a title. I have been getting in business over here into EDC. I have been helping people around here. I have been making a change around here, and I have been doing an impact over here. It's all without a title. This time, I'm asking for the title so I can make a larger impact to make a difference around here. I've always been told, if you want to see a change, be the change. That's what I want to be over here, coming in to be the change with the mindset that it's open communication and education for our residents to be the connect between the city council and the resident of the people, because that's the solution for every problem. Communication and transparency. And I think Frisco needs somebody who listens to their residents, who understands, and who takes action for it. That's why I'm asking for your support and your vote. Sangeeta Datta, place 4. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh, for helping me with the closing statement about the importance of experience. I have the experience on the leadership roles of two of the very important entities in Frisco that bring in people into our city. One is the Frisco School Board, where I am your school board trustee since last 6 years. I also have the experience of the EDC as an EDC board member, where I can bring in more jobs, leverage the tax base so that the impact on the tax or the homeowners is reduced. I have been endorsed by our State Representative Matt Shaheen and two of our sitting council members, Angelia Pelham and then John Keating. My priorities are very simple. Keep it safe, lower the taxes, bring more jobs, and ensure the traffic moves very smoothly. My name is Gopal Phanangi. I am running for place 4, and my name is number 4th in the ballot.
I've never run for a political office before. This is the first time I've ever run for a political office. It'll probably be the last time I ever run for a political office. If you get me on the city council, if you elect me to the city council, I am going to be, that is going to be my only focus. I'm not going to be focused on the next election. I'm not being focused on using this as a stepping stone to run for the state legislature. I'm not going to use this as a stepping stone to run for Congress. I'm not going to use this as a stepping stone to go back to one of the boards or commissions and wait for the next opening on the city council so I can run for city council again. This is going to be it for me. So thank you very much.
We're going to miss you, Jerry. I'm going to have to agree with my opponent over here, Josh. He's right. We need the right kind of leaders. You need someone like me because I have 17 years of financial experience. We need someone that can understand complex financial needs so that the citizens of Frisco can focus on their lives and lead a productive life. I've been endorsed by many trusted elected leaders. Actually, I've been endorsed by more elected leaders than everyone on this stage combined, current elected leaders. Jared Patterson, Sheriff Tracy Murphy, Ryan Williams, Chris Hill, Brian Livingston, you may have heard of him, and a host of others. The reason they endorse me is because I've reached out to them. I'm going to partner with them, and I'm going to make sure that the city of Frisco has the right leadership to lead us to the next generation. Thank you very much. Jared Alod, Frisco City Council, place 4.
Thank you.
I can use a challenge statement right there to something he said related to saying that he's got the experience related to complex finance, and I can use my challenge now?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay.
Please.
So I would pose the question in understanding complex finance, and that since Frisco is such a destination location, we receive $70 million into the general fund. We receive $35 million to the EDC and the CDC based on sales tax. How do you plan to replace $140 million?
It's got to be a statement, Josh. It cannot be a question.
Okay.
It's a statement.
Okay, that's okay. Then I'll just move into closing statement at this time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, perfect. Frisco is known globally for being visionary, and I don't know why there's so much hesitation to continue to lean into our continued success track record. We have continued over and over and over to develop projects that have partnerships, that have creative funding mechanisms to turn back around and reinvest that into our community and pass that on along as property tax savings. So I'm gonna close with this, and I'm gonna let you know that if I get elected, Prop A and Prop B pass, I'm gonna negotiate an ironclad operating agreement that is gonna keep us safe related to this Frisco Center for the Arts. We're gonna make sure that we have an operator at risk model that is tight, and we are gonna develop a world-class facility. After we've approved that, I'm gonna then vote to approve that agreement, and I look forward to one day taking my two kids who are 12 and 8 to some comedy shows, some orchestras, and some Broadway musicals. And I look forward to also talking. Okay.
Thank you.
Ran out of time.
And thanks to each of you for being on stage tonight. Thank you.
Can I use my 30 seconds, please, for my close statement?
You can.
This statement is more geared towards Mr. Gopal Ponangi. Leadership is all about showing up and making very strong decisions sometimes, which is not always favorable. But you still have to make a decision, yes or no, as a leader. With his attendance of 60% absence in the school board and not able to make a decision for the Arts Center even today for a yes and no, how does he take his leadership?
Needs to be a statement, please.
I don't see leadership in that at all, is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Ken?
I really do not know from where she got the 60% absenteeism. I would like to really know that. Anyway, coming back to the leadership, means taking a position. So my position is for the community to make the decision. If the decision is made, then I will work to make sure that whatever decision is made, I will ensure that it is complete, it is done to the satisfaction of the community, ensuring that the project is done in a timely manner and also from financial standpoint.
Does Jared have one available? Okay, you can do a 30-second statement.
Yes, I'd like to have a rebuttal to what Mr. Meek said earlier. I am an experienced financial advisor. I have multiple professional designations. I'm not just a financial advisor. It's like if you were wanting to do your taxes, are you going to hire a bookkeeper or are you going to hire a CPA? Absolutely, you're going to go for the CPA. I do have that experience. I own my own company. What does my opponent have? He doesn't have that. So I just want to answer, just make sure you're aware of that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all for being on stage, and thank you for your participation tonight. Thank you.
Can we give it up for our moderator, Rick Rogers? This is not easy. Rick Rogers, with Star Local Media, Frisco Enterprise. Thank you for wrangling. It's a challenge.
Hey, Crystal, I know we went 8 minutes over. If you have to pay a fine, just put it on my chamber or statement, okay?
You got it. And big thank you to Grace Church for all the hospitality tonight and letting us go over. We appreciate you. Vote on May 3rd. Get out there early, April 22nd through the 29th. Thank you.